This is Almost Game Day. As always, I'm your host, Sean Green. Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate it. Got a little bit of a different show. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's two people sitting next to me. That usually doesn't happen. Usually it's just me in my room filming. So it's definitely interesting. I've got to my right, I've got Robert Husby, host of HTF Bets. Robert, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, Sean. Glad to be back. Football's here. Football, it's always great to get ahead of football, and here we are. Excited to be here.
I'm glad you're excited to be here. And yeah, we're only talking the games. We're doing touchdown picks of the week. That's going to be the show this week. There's so many games that are really interesting, and they've got playoff implications this week, so we're going to be talking football. And then to my left, I've got Kyle Dewitt. He's been on my show a lot. Kyle, thank you for coming. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty well, Sean. I mean, it's kind of cool to be part of the experience for the first time, kind of having people in studio for your show. So instead of you just talking at the mic for 30 minutes.
See,
straight.
Here's the thing. I talked 30 straight minutes by myself, and I call on Zoom. I felt kind of lonely, so I figured I would bring some HTF members to the house. Sorry, John Whitley. I'm taking over your look. But let's, without further ado, let's just get into the games, because we got 7 games, touchdown picks of the week. Guys, I was pretty bad last week.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was probably my worst. It was my worst week, no question. My first losing record of the season. You got 12-2 the week before, and then last week it was 6-8. So it kind of evens itself out. I was 54-30. 54-30, like, that's pretty solid.
I mean, yeah, it's still pretty solid, but I mean, you're supposed to be an expert. I think you can do better.
I think that's.
I like to see him get humbled, though. So that's
humbled.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice. I like to see him get humbled.
Okay, see that everybody likes me getting humbled. All right, but listen, I am humbled, and that's why these picks, I'm going undefeated this week. I'm gonna win every single game. Okay, I'm not even gonna look at you guys.
Johnny Jackson's holding you to that.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Johnny Jackson.
What you say?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys can get ready for that in a couple of weeks. All right. Let's go to first game. Boom. Browns versus Bengals. This is such a weird game because I love Joe Burrow and I love how he's playing. But I think it's the mentality of hungry dog runs faster. I told you about that last week. I'm taking it from Barstool. Hungry dog runs faster. The Browns got obliterated by the Steelers, which I will say I did tell you that last week. I was like one of the only ones that said it would be a blowout. I think the Browns come back and make it a game. I think Joe Burrow, though he will keep it close, and he'll score some points on that Browns defense, I think this is an easy win for the Browns to get back in that win column and prove that they're still a dominant team in that AFC North division, even though they're not going to be beating the Steelers or Ravens. They're a potential wild card team with that record. So I do think the Browns win and cover at -3, but this is kind of a trap game. I would not be shocked if the Bengals, made it close. But I do think the Browns will win and cover. I'm going to go to Robert first. Robert, Browns, Bengals, who do you got and who covers the spread?
You know what? I think I agree with you here. I think you have to go the Browns. The Browns are looking to regain from that loss against Pittsburgh. Obviously, bad loss. Pittsburgh's a great team, great defense. Browns have been struggling at the quarterback position. Now it seems like the Browns are kind of being held back by Baker Mayfield.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. The score was so bad last week that Case Keenum got put in, and I don't know where.
That's
where
when
they
you know
go
it's
from here.
bad.
That's when you know
That's
it's
when you know
bad.
it's
I mean,
bad. Sure.
Baker Mayfield. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's the answer for that team. But right now, I'm sure he's going to start. Bengals, decent offense. AJ Green's up and down, but they got Tyler Boyd. They got Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow's been playing well for a rookie. All things considered, but defense isn't great. So as far as this game and this Battle of Ohio goes, I think you have to go with the Browns, and I think the Browns will cover the spread. I think they're a good enough team on offense and a decent enough team on defense to cover the spread and beat the Cincinnati Bengals team.
All right, so he picks the Browns too. Kyle, it got announced John Ross, he wants to get traded. He wants shipped out of Cincinnati. AJ Green, he gets seen on the sideline saying, I want to be traded. But it's kind of hard. He's got $18 million on his salary cap. So what do you see out of this Bengals team, and do you think they could cover against the Browns?
I don't think the Bengals are going to cover, just for the fact it's not even their offense struggling really bad, Sean. It's just that the Bengals' run defense is so bad. They're a bottom 5 run defense in the league, and the Browns have a top 5 rushing attack in the league, and they have Kareem Hunt back this week. Granted, they don't have Nick Chubb, but they still have Kareem Hunt back, and that's going to be the reason why they cover the spread and win.
All right, so we each have the Browns winning and covering at -3, so it seems like an easy game. If we all lose that, then, we'll just blame Kyle. Saints, yeah.
Great idea.
Let's go to the second game on the slate. Saints, Panthers. So this is a very interesting game. I think we all can agree the Saints haven't been the team that we all expected them at the beginning of the year. I always think the Saints will pull it out. But just like a couple weeks ago, I said I think the Saints will beat the Chargers, but all in all, I do think that the Chargers will cover that spread. I'm doing the same thing this week. The spread is 7.5. I think the Saints will beat the Panthers. The Saints are the superior team. The Panthers, it's like a roller coaster. They have up weeks and they have down weeks. To be honest, they're the better team than the Bears. In my opinion, they have the much better team, but they don't play like it. So that's why they lose those games against teams like the Bears. I think the Saints ultimately win with that offense. Michael Thomas coming back. You still got Kamara. But I do think the Panthers will keep it close and cover the plus 7.5. I'll start with Kyle. Kyle, what do you see out of this game, Saints-Panthers?
I still think the Saints are going to win, but I'm going to go against you saying that the Saints are actually going to cover the spread here. I think the Saints actually win by 2 touchdowns in this game, especially since they're most likely to get Michael Thomas back. It's just that secondary is just so bad for Carolina. They haven't been playing well this season, and if Drew Brees, he can only throw the ball 15 yards downfield, but with that secondary, he can pick apart that defense left and right. And Alvin Kamara will get involved in the pass game too, especially with how bad the linebacker play is in Carolina. I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater can put up enough points, especially without Christian McCaffrey.
Well, remember, Teddy Bridgewater played for New Orleans last year, so he played against that defense a lot in practice. So I will say that. I'll say, we are talking, I get the defense is better for New Orleans. And Teddy, when you play against a good D-line with Cam Jordan and stuff like that, it might hinder his progressions. But he did play for them last year.
Playing against them in practice and playing against them in a full-time 100% game are 2 completely different things. Yes, he might know tendencies, but I don't think he's ever played them full speed, 100% strength.
Very true. Robert, what do you see out of this game? Saints, Panthers, spread is 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a perfect trio here. I'm gonna say the Saints win the game, and I'm gonna agree with Kyle on this one. I think they will get that spread. I think at least 2 touchdowns. I think with Carolina not having Christian McCaffrey still, that's their main weapon. That still, they've been doing okay without him. Not great. I mean, they're not a good team overall, but he's still a key missing piece on that offense. And Robbie Anderson's been playing well. Bridgewater's been playing fine. But I just don't think they're good enough on defense to keep that Saints offense, especially like we said already with Michael Thomas coming back. That's a huge X factor that is slotting in for the Saints that they really haven't had this season at all. So Michael Thomas coming back, huge boost. That's a guy that's going to put up points. Best wide receiver in the NFL last year. We'll see what he's got this year, but you know what? I like those chances for the Saints. I think even with Drew Brees' noodle arm, just absolute wet spaghetti. He's gonna be fine enough with Michael Thomas and the rest of that Saints offense.
All right, third game. Honestly, I've been waiting for this game for a while. We've been waiting weeks for the Steelers-Titans. COVID on the Titans, right? The Steelers have been waiting weeks for this game. Titans and the Steelers both look like, I'm not going to say Super Bowl contenders, but they definitely look like strong playoff contenders, no question. I'm going to start with you. Or no, I'm going to start with me. I'm going to give my pick really quick.
Okay.
Steelers, the spread is so short. It's 1 point. And the Steelers are the underdogs. I'm shocked. I get the Titans look like the cool team. They got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's rushing for 94-yard touchdowns and all that. They should have blown out the Texans. The Texans are not a good team, and the Texans basically pushed it to the end of the game. I like the Steelers to win and cover as the underdog at +1. I think this Steelers team is destined for greatness. This defense is serious. They did lose Devin Bush to the injury last week, which that's going to hurt. He's a great, bright young rookie at that middle linebacker position. But I think the Steelers are going to expose the Titans here. The Titans haven't really played a great defense. So I think the Steelers team is going to expose them. Because if they can't if they can't run with Derrick Henry as much as they want to, and they cover up A.J. Brown, who's going to be open? So I got the Steelers winning and covering the +1. Robert, the Steelers are playing the Titans this week. Do you see something similar to what I'm saying, or do you think the Titans will pull it out this week?
No, I see what you're saying there. I really didn't think this Steelers team was going to be this good coming into the season. I didn't really know what to expect from Ben Roethlisberger coming in. He's been fine. That defense is just so dominant right now. And, this is one of their bigger tests, I think. Browns last week really not so much. But, this week, I think they are going to have a real test. Derrick Henry put up 40 fantasy points last week. I know because he beat my team, so thanks a lot.
Pain.
But, I really think with this Titans team, like you said, with A.J. Brown and stuff like that, you lock him up. I don't know who's number 2 on that. If Derrick Henry, you can contain him, which is not exactly an easy feat to do. I really think that this Steelers team can really get to Ryan Tannehill in this Titans offense. It's going to be a hard time for them. It really is. And if there was a team to beat the Steelers and keep them from going undefeated so far, it would be the Titans, just because they are playing so well right now. But no, I agree. I think I think the Steelers defense will pull them out here. They'll cover the spread. It also doesn't help that the Titans are without Taylor Lewin. He's likely out for the season, so injury hitting them there too. So one of their more important players.
Yeah, at left tackle, against that pass rush, you can't be having your offensive line out, because if they're getting to the quarterback and they're putting pressure on you, you're not going to get time to even run or throw. So that'll be an interesting notion. Kyle, Steelers Titans. Do you agree with me and Robert?
I do. Steelers win and cover the spread. Johnny Smith is most likely out this week, and he has been Ryan Tannehill's favorite red zone target so far this season. And the Steelers have the second best rushing defense in the NFL. And I think look for Derrick Henry to have his worst game of the season so far this year. So I think Steelers win and cover the spread, just based off those thoughts.
All right. So we've got 3 going for the Steelers. Watch the Titans just kill the Steelers. That's just what's going to happen. With my luck, the Titans are just going to obliterate the Steelers. Another game in division, very interesting. I looked at some of these stats last year from these 2 teams. Very weird times when they're playing. Seahawks, Cardinals. I originally, when I was looking at this game, I really liked the Cardinals. I was like, listen, the defense lost Chandler Jones, yes, but again, that Seattle defense is so bad. It's so bad. And when you're playing an offense like the Cardinals, I just thought the Cardinals would keep it a game. Then I looked at last year's stats from the games, and I was blown away. So, the Cardinals blew out the Seahawks 27-13 in one of the weeks, and the Seahawks won 27-10 the other week. But the game that the Cardinals won, Kyler Murray only threw for 166 yards. Kenyon Drake ran for about 168. So what that tells me is he didn't throw. They won, but they ran the ball last year. I'm going to go Seahawks win and cover the spread at -3.5. I don't think Kyler Murray is there yet to throw 55 times in a game and beat a team like that. He makes too many mistakes on offense. He doesn't know which receiver to get it to in the times he needed. DeAndre Hopkins last week, he had 1 catch for 25 yards, or for 15 yards. That can't happen. You need to get your number 1 receiver the ball. The Seahawks are just the better team right now, even though both these defenses are not good. I go Seahawks win and cover. Kyle, what do you see out of this game?
I see the same. I mean, I actually think the Cardinals are actually going to cover the spread but still lose.
Okay.
I think it's actually going to be a field goal game, a 2 or 3 point game. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be each team moving up and down the field. I think Kyler Murray will be able to match blows with Russell Wilson for the first half, but it's going to be who has the ball last and who's the more experienced coach. Pete Carroll. He'll have him in position to win the game.
Okay, so you're saying Seahawks win, Cardinals cover at +3.5.
Seahawks win, Cardinals cover. Seahawks win by a field goal in the end of the game.
Okay, got you. Robert, do you agree with any of the sentiments said before you?
Yes, I agree with you, Sean. I do not think they will cover the spread. I think the Seahawks, great points on both. Cardinals, Seahawks defense, not great. In a perfect world right now for Kyler Murray, the way he played last year, which he's not playing like this year, Kyler Murray would be getting the ball to DeAndre Hopkins, and he'd be absolutely burning that Seahawks defense this weekend. But I don't know if it'll happen. Kyler Murray just hasn't been playing that well, and if he's going to have to rely on the run game and Kenyon Drake more than he trusts his receivers or he trusts himself to throw the ball, it's not going to be good. But I think the Cardinals still do have a good offense. They still do have the ability to do that, and Kyler Murray has the ability to have a big game like this. And against a weaker defense like the Seahawks, he can explode for that. But I think the Seahawks are the better overall team. This team right now, the Seahawks team, is living and dying by Russell Wilson, and by all intents and purposes, this guy's the MVP so far for the season for the NFL. So
undisputed,
absolutely. So I really don't see them beating this Russell Wilson-led Seahawks team yet, and I don't think they'll cover the spread. I think the Seahawks will win, and Russell Wilson will lead them to a pretty decisive victory.
And this is a big game for Kyler. Like, there's no question. If Kyler doesn't show out against this Seahawks defense, there's going to be question marks. Because we talk about roller coasters. Kyler Murray is a roller coaster. 1 week, he looks like the next big superstar in the league, the next big franchise quarterback. And then other weeks, he looks like his age. He looks young. He looks like he can't get out of the pocket. He's running like a madman just trying to get a throw off. He needs to know how to slow the game down and beat a secondary like the Seahawks secondary. If you can go out and do that, you're going to keep the game close. I just think, again, the bright lights, you're playing the number one team in the NFL, right? Like, by all accounts, the MVP of the NFL season. I think you need to come out and show out just that you are just as good as the quarterback on the other side. But like I said, I just don't see it happening this week. I think, especially after watching the game last week, I don't think they can beat the Seahawks.
The thing about Kyler that I've seen so far is that he reminds me kind of Josh Allen so far. He stands out in games where he should stand out against mediocre to poor defenses, and then in the games where he goes against really good defenses, that's where he shows his age. And that's why I do think that Kyler Murray is going to have a game, because you saw last week in prime time, he lit up the Cowboys. Granted, the Cowboys have the worst defense in the NFL, probably by far, but the Seahawks aren't that far behind, especially in the pass defense department. He has a multitude of weapons to throw to.
I think that's a good analysis. I think Josh Allen and Kyler Murray, you can look at it and they're two different quarterbacks. They're similar but different. But in that sense, yes, they don't play good in the big games. Kyler Murray beats the teams he's supposed to beat, but then when you're playing a team like the Bills and Chiefs, right? Josh Allen should have won that game easily. You have the better team on defense than the Chiefs, and you still go and lose.
But no one can match up to that Chiefs offense. No one can. It doesn't matter how good your defense is.
No, but we look at all the games the Bills have played. Josh Allen does not play good against the decent teams. And That's why he hasn't done well against the Patriots. It's because, again, you play good teams and you lose. You lose the games that you need to win. And that's why we're going to talk about the Patriots here in a second, but that's why I continue to say I think the Patriots win that division, regardless of how they're playing right now. The Bills won't beat the teams they need to beat, and they've got a tough schedule coming up. But let's get to the next game. Let's talk about an AFC East team. Patriots 49ers. What a game last week, huh, boys? The Patriots, again, going into the week, I'm like, there's no way the Patriots win and cover. I picked them to win and cover at the end of the week because by all accounts, everybody's like, oh, looked like Cam Newton's back to his old self. COVID, it didn't affect him at all. Practice time don't matter. We're the Patriots. And they just laid an egg. They laid an egg. Laid an egg. Like 12-18 against the Broncos, a team you need to beat. That's, again, we're talking about the Bills beating teams they need to beat. The Patriots didn't beat the teams they needed that win against the Broncos. So now we're going into a week where I picked the Rams to beat the 49ers. And the 49ers made them look like toys. They made them look like the baby in the division. Patriots 49ers. In my accounts, so that's 2 straight losses for the Patriots. I can't remember a time that the Patriots lost 3 straight. I can't. Maybe 2002? Or maybe even before that. I can't remember a time.
I don't think there has been a time where they've lost 3 straight since 2000. Like, in the 2000s, I don't think they've lost 3 straight games.
It's been a while. So, for that reason, I can't with a good conscience go against Bill Belichick this week. Full week of practice. Again, everybody just assumes the Patriots are going to be good. So last week when they're playing the Broncos, they only had 1 practice in 2 weeks. By all accounts, that would automatically, people are thinking, oh, Broncos. But all week they're thinking the Patriots are going to come out and win, which is very impressive that they can think that way. But any common knowledge person, and clearly I didn't have common knowledge, because I was thinking the Patriots would win and cover. This week, a full week of practice, Jimmy Garoppolo coming back to New England. Bill Belichick has seen this guy play for 4 years. Now he's seen him play on the 49ers. I think the Pats will win and cover at home. 49ers coming all the way back to the East Coast again for another week. That's why I'm taking the Patriots at -2. Cam will look better. Kyle, Patriots 49ers. I have a feeling you're going to take the 49ers here, but go ahead.
As much as I do not like the Patriots, I can't go against you.
Oh, wow.
49ers crossing the United States. I mean, I know that that's usually not supposed to be a big deal, especially since they travel 2 days before the game, but jet lag is a thing. And if you look at the statistics, people that travel from West Coast to East Coast or East Coast to West Coast are more likely to lose. Raheem Mostert's out for 3 more weeks with a high ankle sprain. Sucks because he's on my fantasy team, but got to deal with it. And
always find a way to get fantasy in there.
Always find a way to put fantasy in there. And just all the injuries on that 49ers defense. I mean, this team is just so injury-riddled. And I feel bad for them because they are a good team when they're fully healthy. And I do think Garoppolo's good whenever he has his full team at strength. But Patriots win. Patriots cover. And also, who would have thought that the Patriots and the 49ers would both be third in their division as of right now? Who would have thought that one?
Not me.
Right?
Not me.
Oh, man. Even the Dolphins are ahead of the Patriots. I had to put in some Patriots slander in there for Sean.
It's so early, guys. It's like so early. So you don't really notice it until you actually look at records right now. Usually, if the Patriots were winning the division right now, I'd be like, "Oh my God, we're blowing teams out. It's great. We're 4-2." But I'm looking at it, I'm like, the division is so close. Like, I'm not looking and being like, "Oh God, we're in trouble." You're 2-3. You're a 2-3 football team. That's what your record says. But we're looking at this division, especially the NFC West. That division is stacked, and that division is going into the end. And the 49ers are in that division. Robert, your team, the Rams, played the 49ers last week. Mm-hmm. Do you see the 49ers going to New England and beating them after having an impressive win against the Rams?
No, because I really don't think it was that impressive of a win for them.
It wasn't.
Honestly,
correct.
First half, 49ers showed up. Jimmy G looked good. Second half, they put up 3 points. Rams defense is notorious, and I'm sure we'll get to the Rams. Yeah. Rams defense is notorious for this season for being absolutely abysmal in the first half. They just do not show up. Second half, they lock it in. Why? I don't know, but they do. And so for the Rams, the 49ers and Jimmy G showed up in the first half. Second half, they didn't. They put up 3 points. And it was more the Rams offense and Jared Goff who didn't look good. So as far as the 49ers go, without Raheem Mostert, obviously they still got George Kittle and stuff like that. I don't trust Jimmy G enough to go in, beat his old coach on the road. I just don't. I don't think this 49ers team is that great. Solomon Thomas is out. Nick Bosa is out. We know this. We've known this for a few weeks now. This defense is not where it's supposed to be. Right now, honestly, standings aside, I really think the 49ers are the weakest team in the NFC West right now. I just don't. I don't believe in them.
Completely agree.
I just don't see it right now. And, yeah, it has a lot to do with injuries and inconsistency, but, you got to play through that. And it's unfortunate for them, but it's a big game this weekend. Jimmy G's obviously coming back home, but I don't think he'll get it done. I think the Patriots hold it down. Patriots got a good enough defense. Obviously, have to address some things on offense, but, I'll agree with Sean there that I think the training issues with, Cam getting COVID, I think that definitely affected them against the Broncos. So this week, full training. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll get this victory.
And he was rolling before COVID. We were like
he was rolling
right before he got COVID. We're talking about the Patriots beating the Kansas City Chiefs easily, and they could have if they had Cam. So I think when you look at it,
not easily, but maybe beating them.
Yeah,
that's a little bias coming out.
I do agree. I do agree that the 49ers are the weakest team. With Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa out, that defense isn't the same. The pass rush is not the same. Richard Sherman still out. That's a corner that you need on that back end. They're very young on that back end. And in my opinion, if you take George Kittle out of the game, Jimmy G is not going to have a great performance. So I'm going to go to what Kyle's saying. If you have him on your fantasy team, get another quarterback because Bill Belichick has so much tape on this kid. He knows how to play him. He knows exactly what to do. He knows the defensive coverages. They're not even going to be worrying about Jimmy G as much. They're going to be worried about George Kittle and how he's getting open, because Jimmy G is going to be throwing the ball a ton to George Kittle. So we're all agreeing it's a clean sweep. Patriots cover and win. I was so excited for this game. Now I'm not as excited. Bucks, Raiders. The Bucks are the favorites at -3.5. I really liked the Raiders about 3 days ago. I was like, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win at home, cover. Bucks are coming off a great win against the Green Bay Packers. They showed a lot, but usually when you show a lot, the next team watches that film and takes some things away.
Yeah.
But again, the Raiders, COVID strikes again. COVID strikes another team. Trent Brown looks like he's definitely going to be out. They sent all the offensive linemen home for the day. Don't know if they're practicing again, but
they sent everybody home on Thursday, not just the offensive line.
They sent everybody. COVID struck the Raiders. I don't think there's a chance in hell that the Bucks can beat, or the Raiders will beat the Bucks. I don't think there's a chance. You look at the Bucks team; they're just the better team. I saw the Raiders coming off of a bye, preparing for Tom for 2 weeks. I thought the Raiders had a chance. Now looking at it, that pass rush Devin White is gonna have like 2 sacks on Derek Carr. It's not even gonna be close. I think the Bucks beat him by like 21 points. Robert, so yeah, I'm gonna say the Bucks win and cover. Robert, I'm guessing you're gonna agree because that offensive line is riddled.
Well, that's a good assumption, Sean, because I will agree with that. I think the Bucks are just playing great football right now, and this is exactly what was advertised. The Bucks looked absolutely fantastic against the Green Bay Packers last weekend. Absolutely just shocked Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay defense, that Green Bay offense. I think right now they're just playing real good football. They obviously have Godwin and Evans, as good as those guys are. Ronald Jones, guy has showed up this year. And again, to go back to fantasy, not to bring it back to fantasy, but the guy's becoming a top 5 fantasy back. He really is, and he's putting up almost 20 points a game now. He's good for at least 100 yards a game. So I don't really see why that won't continue. He's been great. He's the true number one. It helps Fournette's been hurt. It helps that Fournette, really hasn't gotten a chance. But right now, Ronald Jones is solidly that number one on that as a back on that offense. Raiders have a decent defense. They got a good defense. Obviously punched the Kansas City Chiefs in the mouth a few weeks back, but I think right now with all that in perspective, with all the COVID situations surrounding them and practice cancellations, it's going to be very hard for this Raiders team to get their act together before this weekend ahead of a really, really tough Bucs team. This is the toughest team they faced since they faced that Kansas City team, and I don't know if they'll win this time out. I think the Bucs will have their number and they'll cover the spread.
Kyle, you look at this Bucs team, and they've been playing better the past couple weeks. You could see it on offense. They clearly are finding a niche in how they want to play, what they want to do. That Packers team, in all accounts, was second or first to Seattle in that NFC. And now you're looking at the Packers, and it's like one game, and everybody's throwing it out the window. What do you see out of this game? Do you think, regardless of the offensive line, so say Trent Brown's the only player out, do you think the Raiders have a shot with only practicing maybe once this week?
Well, the Raiders' offensive line, even with Trent Brown, is still mediocre at best, and the Bucs have a really good They have a really good pass rush. Still have Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh. William Golston's really come up well this year. Antoine Whitfield at safety as a rookie already has 2.5 sacks. That's more than DeMarcus Lawrence. I
forgot he was a Bucs fan.
I love Dallas Cowboys hate on this show and all HTF shows, but the Bucs are a tale of two teams for me. I'm a Bucs fan by heart, but you lose 19-16 to the Chicago Bears. You beat the Green Bay Packers 38-10, and you also got to remember the Bucs were losing 10-0 at one point in that game, and Aaron Rodgers was doing Key and Peele celebrations. So it's just it is very the Bucs are just a tale of two teams, and the only 2 games that they've lost have been on the road. They're on the road. They're on the road. They're on the road to Las Vegas this week. Yet again, East Coast going to West Coast. But with the offensive line out, Bucs win and cover the spread.
So I just had the perfect analogy when this guy was talking. So the Bucs are the Bills.
Yeah.
But the opposite. The Bucs beat the hard teams but lose to the easy teams.
You still can't call Chicago an easy team.
Come on.
I think that
I don't think Chicago's an easy team.
Chicago's
They're
an easy
not.
team.
Chicago's surprisingly good this year.
They're 5-1.
yeah.
They're 5-1 for a reason.
We're gonna argue about that one, I think.
Just wait. Oh, we'll talk about the Bears in the next segment, but you can't really listen to this guy because the Bucs. He's a Bucs fan.
And their other loss has been to the New Orleans Saints on the road.
And New Orleans hasn't been that great this year.
Yes.
Okay, so
First game of the season.
But that was the first game of the season. Brand new team.
Tom Brady.
But can we also talk about how Bruce Arians has actually done a beautiful job in that offense? He did not give the keys to Tom Brady.
All right, that's where we move on to the next game.
All right.
Monday Night Football. This guy's favorite team. More than okay to talk about the Rams.
Fine.
Absolutely.
Rams versus Bears. So, again, we're talking about the Bears. So the Rams are favored by 6 points after taking a loss to the 49ers. Robert brought up a good point. The Rams' defense in the first half is abysmal. It's in my opinion, probably the worst first half defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Second half defense, probably the best defense in the NFL. It's surprising. Like, you watched the game against the Bills. They were down 28-3, came all the way back, ultimately lost, but the Bills pretty much didn't score in the second half except that late touchdown. So when I look at this game, and I looked at the last time the Rams played Nick Foles. So I don't care about the team. I look at the last time Nick Foles played the Rams. It was in 2018. The game was so close. It was like 10-6 for the entire game. Nick Foles beat the Rams. I'm just going to throw that out there. So Robert shakes in his boots a little bit since Nick Foles is coming.
Yeah, I'm terrified of Nick Foles.
Nick Foles
Absolutely.
is a terrifying quarterback.
Oh yeah,
but
more terrified than Mitchell Trubisky. So
yeah,
there you go. He is more terrifying than Mitchell Trubisky.
It went from 0% to 1% really fast.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
fast.
So I'm going to go the Rams to win. I think they're the better team than the Bears. I'm not sold on the Bears. I don't know why. Every single week, I fade the Bears because I just don't see it out of them yet. The defense is serious, but that offense cannot keep up. Nick Foles, it's Nick Foles' MO. He plays good enough to get the win. But I do think the Rams win. Again, we're going remember, we talked Browns-Bengals, hungry dog runs faster. Rams, hungry dog runs faster. They're in a deep division. They need this win against the Bears. I say Rams win, but I do think the Bears will cover the +6. I don't think the Rams are going to put up a 35-pointer. I think it's going to be similar to the last time the Rams played the Eagles with Nick Foles. 10-6, maybe 17-6, and then the Bears score a late touchdown to keep it, somewhat close. But I do think the Rams win. Bears will cover at +6. I'm going to go to the Rams fan first. Robert.
Who's that? Oh, me?
I don't know any other Rams fan. Or I do.
Ooh.
Andrew Hope, if you watch this. Okay. Robert, who do you think? I know you're probably going to pick the Rams, but what's up? What's up with this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick the Rams here just because I can't see them go 2 losses in a row. Last week was a bad week for them on Sunday Night Football. Again, you mentioned it. First half defense, awful. It's hard to come back from games when you're down that much in the first half or after the first half. Same thing happened against the Bills. They came back, but obviously a bad penalty at the end. But you can't keep giving up over 20 points a game in the first half and then expect to come back and win. And it didn't happen for them this past weekend. Cooper Kupp did not look great. Jared Goff did not look great. They didn't look comfortable. So with that being said, it's going to be very hard against a very good Bears defense. And I think right now this Bears defense and this whole Bears team is being highly underrated. I really do think they're one of the better teams this year. And they actually for once look like they have it. They're competent and they have it together. So I think the Bears defense will give them a tough time, but you need Jared Goff and you need Cooper Kupp to look way more comfortable. You need to see them catching and throwing the ball a lot more, and that offense just is too good to be only putting up a low amount of points. So I think they will be able to. It's going to be a good matchup on Monday Night Football, regardless. But it's going to be a battle of can the Rams offense figure out the Bears defense, and can the Bears offense figure out the Rams first half and second half defense. The linebacker situation in Los Angeles isn't great. getting A'Shaun Robinson back off IR is going to help this week. But, yeah, I don't know what it means for the Rams defense. Wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win, but I'm picking the Rams, and I agree with you, Sean. I think the Bears will cover that spread. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tight. That Bears defense is going to keep them nice and tight.
Close game. Kyle, we look at how the Rams played last week against the 49ers.
Yes.
They just didn't look like they found their footing offensively, which has been a surprise this year because the Rams had looked like a top 5 offensive team this year. It looked like Sean McVay found the footing again. He had a little bit of struggle last year, but Jared Goff looked good. Do you think against this Bears defense, who notoriously has a great pass rush, and we know that Jared Goff does not play good against a pass rush, do you think the Rams can blow this team out, or do you think the Bears will ultimately win this game?
Well, it's going to be a close game. I agree with both of you guys on that. But the Bears win outright. I see the Bears winning this game. It's in Soldier Field. It's going to be cold. Los Angeles is definitely not cold.
That is true.
This is going to be a cold, defensive-ridden game.
Are you sure Los Angeles isn't cold?
It's you know what? It can get in the 60s sometimes.
I don't know.
Man, that's a jacket weather right there, baby.
That sounded like a
jacket
Booger
weather.
McFarland take right there.
That's a Booger McFarland take.
That sounded like it was a Booger McFarland take.
Well, listen, it's going to be a defensive-minded game. The Bears have shown that they've played close games and they've won all their close games so far this year. The Bears are 5-1 for a reason. And you said it yourself. Jared Goff plays bad against a good pass rush.
Yeah.
Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack are going to be going after Jared Goff all game. Then this is the best defense that the Rams have faced all year. I don't think that they're ready for this punch in the face that the Chicago Bears, the Bears, are about to give them. And I think that the Bears win outright in this game. Granted, it's only going to be by a field goal. I see 21-17, maybe a 4-point game. Bears win this game. I think Nick Foles finds the way to victory. I see this Bears team being a playoff team, most like all the other playoff teams the Bears had in the past, not a lot. Defensive carry teams. But the difference is the quarterback play. And Nick Foles is the person that's not going to make the mistake for you to lose. And that's all they need. Bears win this game outright and cover the spread.
I so hope that the Rams just beat the Bills now. Beat the Bills down. Or not the Bills, the Bears. Just so that you can be wrong.
We already didn't beat the Bills outright.
Yeah, that was one of the games I said bet your house on it. And what do you know? The Rams disappoint. If the Rams disappoint me again, Robert, I swear
I'm going to have you stop talking about them.
I will never bet on the Rams ever
again.
Good.
What impressive win does the Rams have this year?
Can't beat the Cowboys. Honestly, there's not really been. I mean, they've had to play the NFC East.
It's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I
totally agree. That's why I said I can see them losing to the Bears.
And everybody gave props to the Rams whenever they lost to the Bills, probably by a horrible pass interference call. Yeah. But now we're seeing who the Bills truly are.
I still don't agree with you, but
okay.
I understand what you're saying, and I can't agree with you on that. The Rams haven't beat anybody of any value.
Yeah. I mean, their first 4 games were against the NFC East.
Yeah, so
that's an easy.
At least their first 5 were. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think again, maybe I shouldn't do hungry dog runs faster, but I'm doing hungry dog runs faster. Like the Rams need a win here, and McVay. He really does want to. He needs a win. He needs to prove that he can, throw against a good defense. Because if you've noticed the past couple of years, I'm going to bring up the Patriots Super Bowl. Like McVay does not have great game plans against really good defenses. Top 10 defenses, McVay has struggled. So I don't know. We'll see.
You're just giving yourself more reason to say that I'm right.
No, but see, I don't.
You're literally talking bad about your own pick.
Here's what I'll do. I don't like the game. I don't like it at all. I don't like the pick. But hungry dog runs faster.
Okay, logistics beats hungry dog runs faster.
You pick the team that needs the win.
Hungry Ram runs faster.
Hungry Ram runs faster.
The Bears are full. They've had enough wins. They need a loss on their schedule.
Okay, you heard it here first.
Yes.
Hungry Ram runs faster.
Hungry Ram runs faster. We'll be talking about that next week if the Rams ultimately win. If they don't win, then I need to throw the hungry dog runs faster out for the Rams because I'll be seeing that a lot this week or this year. Jeez, because they can't beat a good team. They're in the best division. How are they going to win anything? All right. So that's the touchdown picks of the week. 40-minute show today, boys, of just touchdown picks. You see, I cut that down for you. I just give you the picks outright. We could talk about this all day. So please, come on back next week. Again, if you haven't subscribed already to the Hitting the Field YouTube page, I say it every week. What are you doing? We literally have something every single day of the week. It's crazy. Go watch HTF Bets yesterday. Great segment.
Great show.
They talked about the Khabib fight where he's gonna get knocked out by Justin Gaethje. It's a great show. So
we didn't go that far, but I think he does win.
Okay.
And Okelo Peño probably has the biggest meltdown of all time.
Yes, I swear, if you have not gone and seen the HTF Bets episode, go back and watch it. So funny. You'll see Okelo rage. It's amazing. So go watch that. Subscribe down below. Like, share, comment. Do all that stuff. Is that what people do on YouTube? They like, share, comment?
Make sure you guys comment and tell us how bad our takes are. Please. We would love to hear the feedback.
Their takes, not mine. Don't send me any hate. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Last week you guys could have easily sent me some hate. 6 and 8.
Everyone here at Hitting the Field wants to be able to interact with you guys. It's not just our show. We want you guys to be a part of it too.
Yeah, so and with that being said, follow the Twitter. At Sean MR Green on Twitter for me and at Hitting the Field on Twitter. Send us your takes. Send us your picks. Help us out. We need some help. If you are interested, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. All right. Anything else to add, boys?
No, besides that, it sounds good.
All right. I want to thank Robert.
Go Rams.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're great. Kyle,
Really appreciated you letting me on the show today.
Thank you so much for coming, Kyle. I
of
really
course.
appreciate it.
I really wish you would have let me talk about the Bucs for a little bit longer, but
okay,
I'll let it happen.
Yeah, no, we're gonna end the show there. No more Bucs talk. All right, guys. It is almost game day. Enjoy the games this weekend.